It's not so much about Rwanda. It's so much how much protection Rwanda will get from Britain, from Israel, from the USA, if we decide to engage them toe for toe. That's what makes them survive. Why would, without an American protection, a Rwandan president go to Oval Office with the DRC president, Tshisekedi, to go and sign an agreement? When they come back, the Rwandan president is still continuing with his shenanigans in the forest of DRC. He knows. He enjoys protection from those people. If I were president, I will never be sheepish in front of the US attack on South Africa, never. First thing I would have dealt with properly is that thing of Rwanda of killing our people by Kagame, killing our soldiers. Till today, we have not responded to that situation. Now the report has come out. Only 27% of our soldiers are fit for purpose. It's not me. When I say it, I get insulted and be told he's putting the country at risk. And we are at risk. We need to turn around the military of South Africa. We need to put more money in the military of South Africa. What is the point putting all monies into all of these things when you can be walloped by a small country like Rwanda? Humiliate you to a point where the president of Rwanda makes no apology about it. He continues to insult us till to date. Till to date. And there's no response. Well, me and Ramaphosa leadership style is different. He does his own things his own way. Sometimes they work, most of the times they don't work. Like that diplomacy of his was needed now. Because we owed it not only to Trump, we owed it to the world to be hospitable to our visitors. And we're exactly that. And never shown a sign of a panicking nation, which is under siege by America. So you should know that I will never be sheepish. We've got, and most of the, Matala, when Matala said to he's got, how many? 8 special forces, 9 special forces, 8, and 1 task force. He was not answering the question. He was actually trying to threaten us that he walks around with the army. The Special Forces of South Africa, it means the highest level of the South African National Defense Force. The highest. Those people alone, they can flatten that thing of Rwanda alone. Our Special Forces. They are not small boys, those people. Very dangerous people. Followed by Special Task Force in the South African Police Services. Very dangerous people. Part of you to pass to be a member of a task force, not even special force, task force, you have to jump out of that thing of a parachute. Every task given to you, you have to be dropped in a country, a foreign country, without that country knowing, in a bush, and then you have to find your way back. Without a cell phone, without a compass, nothing. You have to sit like this and look and say possibly this way and go and come back. That's when they teach you how to infiltrate the country. You know, not even a special task force. There's a force under the special task force is called counter-assault team. They are trained to pass a lie detector. This thing I was telling you about. Lie detector, you call it what is a DP? Polygraph. So what they do, because I get they put things under your feet so that when you lie, the toes move. So under your toes, they put the pins inside your shoes. Or you must stay like this. If you move, even when you are lying, if you move, these things are going to cause you trouble. So your conscience is aware there are pins under my toes. So I must make sure even if I lie, these things don't move. They are trained to pass a lie detector. It's part of their training. So when a graduate TG of a counter-assault team says to you, I pass a lie detector, and you think this is an innocent person, you must know it's a lie. They are trained to pass that thing. We've got those people. It's not so much about Rwanda. It's so much how much protection Rwanda will get from Britain, from Israel, from the USA, if we decide to engage them toe for toe. That's what makes them survive. Why would, without an American protection, a Rwandan president go to Oval Office with the DRC president, Tshisekedi, to go and sign an agreement? When they come back, the Rwandan president is still continuing with his shenanigans in the forest of DRC. He knows. He enjoys protection from those people. Being a revolutionary does not mean you must commit suicide. You said I must not be too hard, so let me not be too hard on you. That's why revolutionaries take guns and shoot at the enemy and fight the enemy. They don't say because we are revolutionaries, let's appear in front of enemies and the enemy must shoot us and kill us to demonstrate we are revolutionaries. That is committing suicide. That's not revolutionary. Actually, that is being a suicide bomber. We are not suicide bombers. I've been found guilty, not because I committed crime, because she's punishing me for my political views and using a non-existing criminal matter which is not there. Let me school you a little bit without fighting, so that when you are at holidays, like Senzo Mukunu, you reflect on this thing, but don't announce any dissolution of PKTT. We apply for 174, me and Adrian, 174, to be discharged after the state closed its case. We say the state has not built a case against us, therefore discharge us. She refuses to discharge us and says, when you refuse to give 174, you mean there is a case you must answer. Fair enough. We say, okay, that's fine. I will take the stand and answer my case, which I did. Adrian refuses to answer the question. He says, no, I'm not going to take a stand. In fact, the ballistic expert will answer the case on my behalf. In fact, the gun law expert will answer the case on my behalf. In the judgment, you say that ballistic expert of Adrian did not answer the question. He was the most useless person, which means Adrian did not answer the question even through the ballistic person. Then you say, shame, the gun law expert is such a good gentleman, and yes, he contributed in the formulation of the gun law, and I can take it that far. Other than that, it's not being useful to me, which means you are dismissing that person who was answering on behalf of the Adrian. The question you said Adrian must answer is still not answered, because you said Adrian has got a prima facie case to answer, which has been built by the state. He still doesn't answer that question. You say, no, discharge, go home. Why didn't you give him 174 at the beginning? Because you said he didn't. There's a question to be answered. He still doesn't answer that question. You say discharge. So that's a level of madness you are dealing with. An extreme incompetence. We're preparing now for a pre-sentencing trial. She still has not provided a written judgment. The social worker who prepares for my pre-sentencing trial, she's looking at the judgment through YouTube. That's the justice I'm faced with. I have to go and then appear on the 23rd and argue why I must not be sentenced. I've got nothing written. When she discharges Adrian, she just says, accused number 2, not guilty, you can go home. But she doesn't say you are not guilty on this charge because the state failed to prove this case in that they could not provide 1, 2, 3, 4 on this one. On this one, the state did not do 1, 2, 3, 4. She knows if she does that, she's now punching holes on the state case. And that applies on Malema. And I can't punch state holes, case holes for Malema because I need Malema for racism because I've got emotional attitude against Malema and I need to punish him for so many things I don't agree with him. And therefore, I'm not going to venture into the reasons why I gave accused number 2 not guilty verdict. Was seated here, will still not give reasons why accused number 2 was given a not guilty verdict. Because those reasons apply on me. You said accused number 2 gave me a gun. When you discharge accused number 2, it means you are now releasing the gun, which you say I've used to commit crime. A gun used to commit crime, once you are found guilty of using that gun, it gets seized by the state. It's no longer returned to you. A gun used to commit crime can never be returned back to the owner. So as I'm standing there, and when you are sentencing me, where is that gun you are saying I used to commit crime? Where is it? As I'm standing in this box, you are sentencing me. Where is the gun? The only gun that remains in that court is the gun I provided to the magistrate, which is a toy gun. Adrian, funny enough, Adrian was called a day before by the prosecutor before judgment was passed. Adrian was called a day before by the prosecutor to come the following day where judgment was going to be passed, to come and fetch the gun. How did the prosecutor know that Adrian was not going to be found guilty and therefore he's got a duty to release the gun? The gun is released as we speak. Remember, you found me guilty with this gun. As I'm standing here, the gun should be standing next to me. Or you have used this to commit crime and therefore put the lives of people under danger. Therefore, I'm sending you to jail for 15 years. Where's the gun? So that's what you're dealing with. That's why I'm going to appeal it. You're not going to blackmail me and say I'm a revolutionary, I must not appeal it, because you're also part of the team that wants to see me in jail. Baba. What is even worse is for this one next to me on the left. If he thought he was going to be acting because I'm going to jail, I'm going to appeal. I want to appeal until the Constitutional Court. So you must know, I'm still around. For those who were excited, I'm still around. But we'll meet on the streets on the 23rd of January 2026. Anyone who loves the law of this country, who agrees that presiding officers must never use the courts to settle political scores, have got a reason to come out in their numbers on the 23rd and say, not in the name of our law, not in the name of our constitution, are you going to use your political differences with Malema to abuse what is entrusted with you as a presiding officer? You know, for any of you who know me, I will never run away from my responsibility. I'm a member of the ad hoc committee, member of parliament, member of leader of the EFF, its member, and a family man. You see how many responsibilities I've explained to you, including the role I play internationally. When you're not even international, you're office bound. I don't know if you have an office or you are sharing that desk in the open thing. I'm not sure if you got a family or where, if in any of these responsibilities I explained to you. So all of these responsibilities are not going to drown because I'm sitting at the ad hoc committee. I've got a duty to all of this, including a duty to wear a hoodie and go to a school and watch my kids playing a play. I wanted to have a father do that to me. I never had it. And I'm going to do that to my children. That which I longed when I was a father, I will do it for my kids. And no animal is going to stand between me and my children. No one. Because when it comes to my children, I've got a duty to perform that. When it comes to the EFF, I've got a duty to perform that responsibility. When it comes to ad hoc committee, I've got a duty. Now, unlike ad hoc committee, in my family, in the EFF or everywhere else, I don't have an alternate. No. Unless there is an alternate in my family I don't know of. That I will not be held accountable for it. But as far as I'm concerned, I have no alternate. Now, I've got an alternate. If I'm not there, the EFF is there. And our alternate was there. The EFF was there. Leave this obsession with Malema and being pretentious that you like me when you don't like me. Firstly, when I accepted to be a member, he's not giving other people a chance. Why is being a member? When I'm being a member, yeah, he must come every day. Why is he not here? Hey. I've got a colored lady with capacity, the DSG of the EFF. If you look at what she has done in that ad hoc committee, yes, she drew us some 10, 15 new votes of colors. They like us now, right? EFF is very good with colors. I told her she must be a councillor in El Dorado Park because the way she's so popular with colors now. How was she going to be in a position she is now if at times on critical matters she's not being given an opportunity to shine and show the capacity of the EFF? That these are not just token, they are women with capacity and they are able to confront hardened criminals and hold them accountable. And all of you here, no one can say that you doubt her capacity in that ad hoc committee. And suggesting why I was not there as if she was not there is belittling her and downgrading her and looking down on women and worse, a colored woman. The EFF was there, and therefore that question does not arise unless it's based on sexism and racism. Be careful what you are not asking when you ask that question, because there's something you're not asking. So I'm not scared of Sibiya. Sibiya is messed up. I don't know how Sibiya is going to come out of this one. And if Sibiya was a human being, firstly, he should not have challenged his suspension. Secondly, he should not be putting us through what he's putting us. By now, Sibiya should be packing and going home and negotiating his pensions. Because if he's going to take us this long, he must know he's eating on his pension. No government is going to pay his legal fees. By the time this thing comes to an end, they say he's guilty in all front. The bills are coming in, and the bills have to be paid by pensions. The pensions will have to be garnished. So it's not for me, it's for him and his wife and his family to take that decision. My guy, let's save what is left of this thing and see what else can be done. His performance in the absence of Malema was so poor in the other committee, extremely poor, and it exposed him. Exposed him. So why do you need Malema? Even in the absence of Malema, Sibiya still performs so bad. The other committee still exposes him. Shame, you know, if Malema was there, it was going to be worse than that. That's what you missed, I understand, but the man still hasn't performed well in the absence of Malema. So if you thought I was staying away because I was rescuing him, or if I stayed away because I wanted to rescue him, it didn't help. It didn't serve any purpose. The guy performed very badly. You know, Ntigi, we are part of the globe. Globalization, it was not of our own design, but the world evolved to become a globe. And these multinational forums where we are able to express our views, whether we're being heard or not, make a space for us to go and articulate our views. We ought to utilize those forums. Let's take, for instance, the UN. It's one body which is a very good idea, ideally, but in practice, the big brothers don't take anything it says serious. You bomb UN missions in Palestine. You bomb people who are going to supply food. UN missions. Who are we in the bigger scheme of things? The G20 helps us to engage in global economic matters, to express what could be alternative ways to can get the world better. The G20 that emanates out of the 2008 banking crisis, which plugged the world into an economic crisis, and was trying to find an alternative platform international where such things can be avoided, is now being utilized by a fascist of note to settle political scores. So you will know, Ntigi, that where we are not wanted, that's where we are going actually. There where America doesn't want us, that's where we want to go. Because it doesn't matter, we want to express our views. It doesn't matter how much veto powers they've got in the Security Council. We want to sit as a permanent member of the Security Council and challenge this thing of veto powers. We know we're not wanted there, but we want to sit there. We're not going to retreat about that. We're not going to retreat that because we're not, the G20 necessarily, there's no one who doesn't want us in the G20 except this fool. It's this guy who's got a problem with us, and by extension America. And America is not a G20. We are a founding member of the G20, and no one is going to push us away. We are going to mobilize international communities to condemn Trump's action. We still have a year where we need to mobilize communities. I want to say it here without any fear of contradiction. Ramaphosa handled this saga very well. If it was me, it would have been worse. He did. That's what you see, that's the thing. with diplomacy and radicalism and all of that. You ought to strike a balance. The guy handled that thing very well, very successfully, in a situation where he was confronted by serious hostility. It's not easy to fight America. It has never been easy. But it's ruling Gauteng. We allow that. But we refuse to allow democracy to rule KZN at 47%. That doesn't make us an MKP friends. We are not friends. Our relationship is still what it was yesterday. But we cannot go against the will of the people. At least respect the will of the people. It doesn't matter how much you disagree with those people in KZN. We'll continue to have a relationship with the royal family of Abatembu as a royal family recognized by our nation, by our people. Dalinja was politics as an individual, and if he's a member, is he a member? Mm-hmm. Did we check him on the system? If he's a member, he's no longer a member because he defined himself outside the organizational policy. He's not us who chased him away. If he's a member, he chased him away. So you have no business, none whatsoever, with being a member of the EFF. But do we require kings to be members of the EFF for us to have a relationship with the kingdom? No. Musizulu is not a member of the EFF. I was at his wedding, and if given opportunity, I will still go and meet with him. His membership is irrelevant because I have to respect and recognize the traditional leadership. As it were, actually, the kings should not be allowing themselves to join political parties. Because all of us belong to that royal house. So if I stand here and say we are fighting with Abatembu as a royal family and the kingdom, it means Vuyanu will have to choose between the EFF and Abatembu. And we cannot do that because of an individual political action of a king who decided to be completely out of order. The king of Abatembu is not a politically amateur individual. He's a trained soldier. He's from exile. He's politically trained. He understands very well the problem between Israel and Palestine. For whatever reason, he decided to do what he did. We completely disagree with that. And therefore, in our membership system, we will never have an individual who side with Israel. Never, ever. Remember, we're still fighting now for Parliament to implement a motion of no confidence, a motion passed by Parliament to close the Israeli embassy. Till to date, Ramaphosa pretends to be fighting Israel's genocide, yet the embassy of Israel is still open against a parliamentary motion that has passed. They do a domestic work of pretending to go to court and all of that. The real action will be to close this Israel. We are fighting. Whether you like it or not, we are fighting. There is a war going on. America is leading the charge for our position on Israel. What more are you scared of? Close the embassy of Israel. We cannot share a territory. We cannot share our land with murderers. Must never allow that and then pretend in international platforms as if we are with the victims and the children and women of Palestine. So that's where we are. So you see me tomorrow Esbayin with Ndalinjab. Don't say, what is that thing they call us? Flip-flopping. Melenyathele. Kukumkan kahlele. Kukumkan. Because that's who we are. It doesn't matter how I feel about his political views. Don't get it twisted. So these ANC people who treat him badly because politically he doesn't agree with them, it's wrong. It shows political immaturity. Because whatever happens, recognize that kingdom and give it the respect it deserves. Some of the things he's doing, he's being pushed away because of the way he's being treated, but it's still it's not justifiable for what he did.
Thank you, Africa, Mama Africa. Oh, yeah. You make Africa